I'm In with the ARCC is brought to you by StoredTech, your technology, our passion. And now here's your host for I'm In with the ARCC, Amanda Blanton.
Welcome to I'm In with the ARCC. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Amanda Blanton, Vice President, Marketing and Communications for the Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce. And today my guest is Erik Nero. He's the founder of First Step Wealth Planning. Erik, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Yeah, I think it's been probably exactly a year since you've been on this show. And
Yes.
Here we are. It's 2026. It's a new year full of new opportunities. Although you would probably say new opportunities are available all the time, right?
It's not calendar dependent,
Yes.
correct? Yes.
Absolutely. So you've been in business for a few years now, really helping people plan for life events, for retirement, but you have a different approach, which I love. Could you just remind us quickly how your approach is different from other financial planners and financial advisors?
Yeah, the approach that I use, with the words that I use is values-based planning. But what that means is it's utilizing a process that allows people to give themselves space, space to figure out their next step. And that's what I tend to find in this industry, having been in it for over 25 years.
Yeah.
That's what the disconnect is with a lot of people, where planners themselves can think that they've done a great job at orchestrating some great plan that deals with all of these different types of complexities, yet only find that the end user, the client, doesn't act on it.
Sure.
And that's the reason. The reason for that is because there's a disconnect between the functional aspects of what most people consider to be a financial plan to the emotional aspects of what actually motivates people. So financial planning is not math. It's math and motives.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of advisors, and I was guilty of this years ago, where it was like, if I could just math that thing perfectly,
Sure.
then there's no reason not to do it. But that life doesn't work that way. Life doesn't fit into a nice, neat equation. It changes constantly. So it's important to have a combination of math to give it structure, so we know we're in the right direction, and we know within a certain amount of reason what to expect. But there also has to be the exploration of the motives. And that's really where it comes down to the relationship with money and understanding, right, what is going to give me the safety, the security, the opportunity, the protection necessary to give myself the permission to take that next step.
Absolutely.
Because I tend to find, and I focus a lot on retirement planning. That's my practice, is helping people make that next transition. And the biggest stumbling block that a lot of folks have is giving themselves the permission to take that next step without assuming compromises, because it's very difficult to move from a saving mentality to a spending mentality. It's a change of behavior. So understanding the relationship with money, giving yourself space, and understanding it's not a math issue, it's a math plus motives issue. And that needs to be built into the plan itself.
Sure.
And that's where I help people guide through those types of decisions by understanding the relationship with money first, which tends to lead to a situation where people are more apt to act upon it because they understand the context of those decisions.
Absolutely.
And they understand the potential outcomes, and it's not something foreign or something that they, check off the list, stick it in the drawer, and not have to think about it again. It becomes part of them, and that's part of what I like to stress, is that a financial plan is not a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It lives in your heart and your mind. You internalize that just like anything else.
Sure.
So the entire exercise is really engineered to help people internalize what they really want to do, even though most people don't have any idea.
Right.
And that's okay. That's okay. That's a next phase of life that most people are going to change tremendously as they go through that.
Sure.
So having the grace to be able to accept that, and also know that you're not going to have all of the answers, nor does anybody expect you to.
Yeah.
So that's the focus.
Yeah.
And it has been. And yes, like you said, I'm going to be, right now it's 4 years, my 4-year anniversary in business. And
that's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. And it's been a great experience for me in helping and doing it the way that I've engineered my firm to be able to provide it, where, it's guidance based. It's not product or anything like that.
And Erik, you and I have had many conversations. And one of the things that always stuck with me is when you're thinking about retirement planning, most people are thinking about a dollar amount, right? They're like, I've heard that you should have this much saved, or somebody told me this, or I'm planning to save this much, but no one ever talks about why and what do you putting this money away for, right? And that's what you told me is kind of your focus is, what do you want out of your retirement? Where do you visualize yourself? Is it traveling? Is it at home with a beautiful backyard garden? Is it saving stray animals? What does your retirement look like? Not what is the dollar amount. Is that still how you're focusing on your clients' needs?
Yes, it's breaking down a lot of myths because the marketing from the financial services industry is all about more.
Yeah.
You need more. So
Right.
you need 25 times salary or X this, or you're 50 years old or 60 years
That's the
old.
math part, right?
It's all the math, and it's all over the interwebs, right? It's like
Sure.
you could look up, how much do I need if I'm age X, or what's my mixture between stocks and bonds? And there's tons of data out there. So in the last 25 years, and me being in this industry at the advent of the data age, right, with the internet, there's more data than ever has been.
Sure.
But synthesizing it and understanding it and then applying it in the context of what your life needs to look like.
Right.
That has only become more difficult.
Yeah.
So, yes, the industry itself likes to say more is better because who wouldn't want more money, right?
Sure.
But what ends up happening is there becomes this perpetuation of this myth where I need to have more. So maybe I delay, or maybe I don't have enough. And in a lot of cases, a lot of the, kind of the biggest firms out there, their business model, frankly, is built on acquiring and growing the asset base.
Sure.
Not withdrawing money from it. So, of course, the tools are geared more around you need to have a certain probability of success. Who doesn't want to have a probability of success of anything less than 100% as they're heading into one of the most stressful and challenging transitions in their life, right? So that really just leads to more is better, less spending is better. And that can lead to a lot of compromises because I tend to find that the thing that is most often just overlooked when it comes to people heading into retirement is really not their longevity, but their recognition of their own joy span. So there's lifespan, health span, and joy span.
Yep.
All three of them are different.
Yep.
So lifespan, if you're not healthy or if you're not gaining joy or doing the things, it's a long slog, and it can lead to, mental distress and things of that nature.
Sure.
But focusing on making sure that there's permission given to get joy from the things that you've saved a lifetime to be able to have. So a lot of it is just about what life can you support realistically, and how do you adapt to that? Because most people, just think about anybody over the course of their career, 30, 40-year career. There's ups and downs when it comes to income, health, family, all of these things. And what do? They adapted to it, just like we all do. So all of these projections and all the math may seem, straight line, but whose life looks like a straight linear line?
Nobody's.
No one's. There's always a wrinkle. It looks more like a ball of yarn than it does a straight line. So the planning process really has to focus more just not on what's enough, because what is enough, right? That's going to be an individualized response. But what does it support now, realistically? And that's where I think people need the most amount of help, is recognizing what am I capable of being able to spend right now. And the tools have gotten better in the industry. When I first started, it was very, very simple. And, the math that was as a result of it was, you took it with a grain of salt. But now things have improved. But tools are only useful in the context of the assumptions that are being made anyway. So like I said, math is not the answer because there's no neat equation for somebody's life. Otherwise, we'd all be doing it right now.
Of course.
So everybody's life is a little bit different. So that's, again, back to your point, where's the focus? It's what am I capable of doing?
Absolutely.
What space can I occupy to do the things that maybe I haven't even thought that I wanted to do yet?
Well, and that's a good point too, because, I've always been told by financial advisors that it's never too early to start planning for retirement, right? So let's say hypothetically, you've got a 30-year-old who's like, all right, I want to start planning for my retirement. But what does my retirement look like, right? I'm 30 years old. I'm hoping to retire by 65, 67, maybe I'll get lucky and it'll be earlier. But I don't know what I want my life to look like at that point. How do you kind of help people kind of reach that point where they can start visualizing it and understanding?
Well, in that context, somebody who's, let's say, 30 years old, it's very difficult
Sure.
to visualize what that looks like.
It's a long
typically
time.
at that stage, they're in a very different phase of
Sure.
life. The power that they have, though, is the power of compounding. So it's simple blocking and tackling. It's
Okay.
save as much as you can
Yep.
with respect to what it is that you're earning. So it's the basics. Save, spend less than what you earn, and make
Yep.
sure that you're consistently saving into a retirement plan. For most people, that's a 401k.
Sure.
It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. You start throwing in family, kids, college education. That's a conflicting goal with retirement. There needs
Right.
to be some planning with respect to that. However, it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. So I use an acronym. I call it SIDE, SIDE.
Okay.
So S is for simple, not pedestrian, but simple. So keep it simple. It doesn't need to be complex. In fact, complexity is the marketing machine of Wall Street. They're going to create it, and they're going to provide you a solution for it.
Got it.
And that's the business model. So recognize it for what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be any more complicated than what it absolutely needs to be.
Okay.
Individualized, but some guidance there as far as just keeping it as simple as it can be. Elegantly
Sure.
simple is kind of the phrase that I look at.
Yeah.
The second is I, which is intentional. Every dollar of your savings. So in somebody who's got maybe a 20 plus year time horizon, or somebody who's right there or in retirement, every dollar has a job
Yeah.
and a use by date.
Okay.
That helps with the perception of what I need. And it gives more in the way later on down the road of an opportunity for people to give themselves the permission to spend. So I think the best example, especially for younger clients, is you've saved for a down payment on a house.
Right.
All that money that's accumulating in that account is for a house. You know, and you say, okay, in X years, I think I should have enough to be able to put a down payment for this house.
Right.
That those dollars are intentional.
Yes.
You know what they're for.
Yep.
It's the same thing with retirement, just
Okay.
a longer term time horizon. Or for those who are heading into retirement, that money is now going to be their paycheck.
Right.
Or their retirement paycheck.
Yeah.
So be intentional. Every dollar has a job to do and a use by date. D, diversify. Make sure you're covering every single base.
Okay.
I don't care who you are or what's going on.
Sure.
I've seen this over the course of the years. Yes, there are some people that have been able to kind of call where the market's going to go, but consistently over time, very, very few. And for mortals, right, mere mortals, you're not going to get access
Right.
to those managers that have kind of the touch or whatever else, because
Yeah.
what they're doing that for
Right.
is institutions. Because
Absolutely.
they know their talent and skill, and they're not making it available to people like us.
To the average Joe, right?
And once it does cycle down to people like us, it isn't the same thing anymore.
Sure.
That's starting to happen. There's more opportunities for people even in their 401ks,
Yeah.
which I've been against from the start, because people's more than likely are not focusing on the financial aspects of their 401k. It needs to be simple. It doesn't need to be more exotic than what it
Okay.
already is, because those fees are built in for Wall Street, which of course they want to be able to offer those things.
Of course.
And I don't mean to disparage it. It's just their business model, but you just have to, as a consumer, be aware of what's
Yeah,
going on
of course,
and what the
of
reasoning
course.
behind it is. So be diversified, and it doesn't need to be extravagantly complex.
Okay.
And then the last is E, inside, which is keep it efficient. Efficient is pay the least amount of taxes that you have to,
Okay.
and pay the least amount of overall costs
Yeah.
that you need to, because those costs can be considerable as time goes on.
Absolutely.
So I am a flat fee advisor.
Yeah.
My clients pay a flat fee ongoing.
Yep.
It's not a percentage of their wealth.
Right. Right.
So that wealth theoretically is going to increase over time, so long as it's invested consistently, but the fee is going to stay right where it is, instead of
Yeah.
it being 1% of that over time, which could add up over a 20, 30-year retirement to something very, very significant.
Absolutely.
That's my personal belief, but seeing how this industry has changed over the time that I've been in it,
Sure.
I really think, and I'm starting to see a lot more inbound inquiries
Okay.
from people who are just like questioning.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm coming into new money. I'm making this new transition. If I give this to my existing advisor, have they earned that much more
Sure.
for providing me the same level of guidance that I've gotten over the years that
Right.
I've stayed with them? And that's made a person like me, I think, a bit more attractive to folks
Absolutely.
who've recognized that. And it's the guidance that people need.
Sure.
So everybody needs some type of financial guidance along their journey, whether that's ongoing or point in time. Everybody needs guidance, but not everybody needs the full scale investment management and
Right.
things of that nature.
Right.
There's plenty of tools for people that want to do a little bit more DIY style. The tools get more and more powerful for them, but it's back to my point about information.
Yeah.
There's more data today than there ever has been in the history of humankind.
Absolutely.
And it's much more difficult to synthesize and use that information with relevance than it ever has been.
I 100% agree.
So that's the challenge. And that's, I think, where if people are looking for help in this regard, I think the one question that I think is a worthy question to ask after they've interviewed is, do I know more about myself as a result of speaking with this person than I did before? How is it that I've gotten more in connection with the feelings I have about money as a result of that conversation?
Yeah.
To me, that's going to be a much more meaningful conversation with an opportunity for that person to be able to gain more true guidance.
Absolutely, yeah.
With better action steps.
Yeah.
Rather than a check it, set it and forget it.
Right.
Okay, I did my plan.
Yep.
Now I can go on and live my life.
Right.
Which is still going to create undertones of uncertainty and doubt.
Of course.
Which is the reason that most people go to a financial advisor in the first place, is to alleviate uncertainty and doubt.
Not to gain more.
Correct.
All right, we do have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back on I'm In with the ARCC.
Hi, my name is David Cohen. As a project engineer at StoreTech, I focus on upgrading and improving technology that businesses rely on to be efficient and eliminate boundaries to productivity. What's different about StoreTech is the dedication to their customers and down-to-earth approach to IT. Our only agenda is to make life easier for you and your employees and allow you to focus on what's important. It's a true pleasure to be a part of StoreTech. I leave work with a real sense of pride knowing I'm part of such a wonderful team of enthusiastic people with unmatched knowledge and experience. Call us today at 518-793-1111 and see how our team can elevate your business to the next level.
And now, back to I'm In with the ARCC. Here's your host, Amanda Blanton.
And we're back. Thanks again for listening to I'm In with the ARCC, sponsored by StoreTech, your technology, our passion. And I'm here with Erik Nero, founder of First Step Wealth Planning. I got to say, everything you're saying makes 100% sense. And it is when you take a step back, right? And kind of tune out the noise, if you will, of what you've been hearing from your friends, your family, from marketing, right? We all fall into the hole sometimes. And when you really start to think, what do I want? What do I want to do with the money I have? What do I want to do with the money I'm going to earn? What am I going to do with the money that I've saved, right? And that's really where you come in. And you told a great story, and you don't have to retell it because I know there's confidentiality with clients and things, but about a person who came in with one question, and after a 2-hour conversation with that person, you realized that they actually had a totally different question in mind. They just didn't realize it at the time. But you helped them go down that path to what's the real challenge here, right? That's powerful stuff, Erik.
It is. And I think back to the, do I know more about myself as a result of this conversation?
Yes.
I think that's the essence of that. And that story that you make mention of, every single time somebody comes to a financial advisor, and in my case specifically, the leading reason for them to reach out is not the actual reason.
Right.
So my biggest job, and where it is that I think I help people the most, is it's not what people say in a meeting. It's what they don't say. And listening well enough to hear what's not being said.
Yeah.
Because in that case, and I'll just kind of cleanse that opportunity for confidentiality, but this person came to me with a question as to what to do with their cash.
Right.
And upon just asking some questions about, all right, what matters about that? Tell me a little bit about history with the money, and then just letting that person talk out loud.
Yeah.
What that person found out at the end of that conversation was there was a burden.
Yeah.
A financial burden of, there was an inheritance, and it was a burden, and a burden that they wished to be able to get out from underneath. So there's always a never, or two words I don't like to use, but 99.9% of the time, the initial reason for somebody reaching out to a financial advisor is not the actual reason. And there's many reasons for that. And I think, having done this hundreds of times for folks, people try to package what they're thinking in the terms of the financial language of the industry.
Yeah.
All right, I want to retire, like hypothetically, I want to retire by 65 and I have X dollars. Like, can I do that? That's not the issue. The issue is what matters about retirement to you.
Yeah.
Who in your life has taught you about retirement?
Sure.
A question I love, and I ask this of everybody.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that you bought with your own money?
Oh.
Tell me the story of how it is that you bought the first thing,
Right.
item, with your own money.
Yeah. Got to dig
The
deep.
answers are wonderful.
I'm sure.
They're wonderful. And it starts a conversation around what really matters.
Yeah.
What is money to you?
Yep.
Money is something different to everybody.
Sure.
And so with spouses, because I work with a lot of spouses,
Of course.
each spouse has a very different set of money values.
And they may not be talking to each other about it, right?
I'll share with you another example.
Yeah.
There was a couple that I was working with having this exercise, going over that, you know, asking those questions. And at the end of that meeting, they had been married for 43 years.
Oh, boy.
They never knew
Yeah.
that each other felt the way that they had expressed about
Right.
money until that moment. Money is a taboo thing. We don't talk about it with our family. We don't talk about it with our friends, yet it's everywhere, right? It's the elephant in the room for everything that we do.
Absolutely.
It affects absolutely everything. So if it's not properly cared for, it's the thorn in the side. It takes up space in your mind that you can't use and dedicate to the things that you really want to invest in.
Sure.
Like your relationships with people that matter to you and the time you want to spend with them.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about different things. I'll share with you another example. So years ago, couple retired, had been retired for a while, who did very, very well for themselves. Very large extended family. He wanted to go on a tour of Europe to visit mainly Second World War
Okay.
areas. He was an enthusiast, a hobbyist with that type of history. The bottom line was it was a 6-figure trip,
Wow.
big one.
Yeah.
So we did a little, hey, is it possible? The answer was yes. They did. They went.
Okay.
So when months later, I was able to reconnect
Yep.
and sit back down with them, I'll never forget what he said to me. He's like, Erik, I always knew that I could have taken that trip because I knew I had the money to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
What I didn't have was the permission to be able to experience it the way that I wanted to. Because if I had done it myself, I would have cut corners here and there just to save a couple dollars here and there. And I would have thought about the money I'm spending as I was on that trip. But instead,
Robs you of your joy.
you're exactly right.
Yeah.
He was 100% invested in that trip, 100% invested in building those memories with his family. And that's the thing. I call it a memory dividend.
Yeah.
When you're heading into this next phase of life, you're not working any longer. You're not building anymore.
Right,
You're not
right.
building money like dollars and cents in your checking and investment accounts.
Sure.
You're building memory dividends. And in this person's case in particular, they built that with their children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren. Those are memories that are going to follow each of those
beautiful.
3 generations after they are no longer here.
Sure.
And that's something that everybody's going to think about when the inevitable happens, right? Oh, I remember the trip when, Pop did this and so on and so forth. That's what money is there to do. But you have to be able to give yourself the permission to do it.
Yeah.
Which thankfully he did.
Yes.
But I have plenty of examples, unfortunately, of people that didn't.
Right.
And then something happened. So I'll share with you another example. There was another couple where both of them were going to retire in a couple of years. But he had a massive stroke.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That was it. Their whole life changed.
Yep.
That was it. He was non-communicative from that moment on.
Oh, wow.
And so it changed everything for both of them.
Yeah.
Their whole lives. So, life is short, so on and so forth. But like understanding what your money has the capacity to provide you is the biggest thing. And I think people miss that a lot.
Yeah.
Because again, the marketing, it's more is better, more is better, more
Absolutely.
is better. But like, what is it for you?
Yeah.
What are you capable of doing? And you're going to adapt.
Sure.
And things are going to change. I mean, I worked with people at the turn of the century when the tech bubble burst. People adapted.
Right.
They adapted in the great financial crisis, right?
Right.
COVID was a hit, but it was so short that it didn't really have all that much of a lasting impact on folks. But the great financial crisis and the tech bubble bursting, that was damaging. But people adapted.
Absolutely.
And I saw them adapt.
And here we are today.
And here we are. And a lot of them, for those who are still in retirement at that point after living through all of those things, they're still doing their thing.
Yeah.
They're just, that much further in their journey.
Yeah. Well, Erik, I hate to say it, we're at the end of our journey today. Unfortunately, I know you and I could just talk for hours. You are full of great information, but again, your approach is so unique and so valued. And I appreciate you sharing some of those stories as well, because it really puts it into perspective, right? So the last question I have for you today is, how can we get in touch with you to not only learn more, but to work with you on our plans?
Yeah, I think the best way is to visit my website. So it's the word first, FIRST-stepwealth and .com. And then right there's a bunch of information about how I do things. I go over guided planning, the services offered, and there's a way to be able to get on my calendar for a complimentary consultation.
Excellent.
Just to understand a little bit more and go from there. So that's really probably the best way to reach out to me. My email and such is on the site too. So
wonderful. And I would recommend everyone follow you on Facebook as well, because you're doing these wonderful bite-sized videos that, tackle some questions that I think a lot of people have and are maybe afraid to ask or afraid of the answer.
Yeah, so Facebook, First Step Wealth Planning. I also have a YouTube channel, Values-Based Financial Planning, where I have the same videos on there as well. So just ways in today's digital age, for people to kind of get the information that they're looking for.
Absolutely.
As well.
And get that good information into your algorithm, right? Sometimes you need some educational pieces too. So.
Right. So the algorithm will keep feeding you more information as far as what you need. So that works. So, But Amanda, thank you. It's been so great to be on the show again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And to everyone, a happy new year. It's going to be a good one. And hopefully they'll get a hold of you, Erik.
Yes, thank you.
You're so welcome. And that's all the time we have for today on I'm In with the ARCC. Be sure to tune in next week.